club.
And I know that Susan, of course, I've known Susan Frank for many years, and she's phenomenal and has been. But we did build differently in the old business, and it really threw me off in this business. Now, the system of growth that everybody's working with, that is perfect for 80% of the people, maybe even 90, right? Because the average person is going to work that way. Don't mess that part of your business up. Right. Don't stunt your growth by messing that up. And Todd would kill me if I said anything other than that right now. But there is a segment of people who are business minded, and they're either not capable of posting twice a day due to their careers, their jobs, what they're doing, or you're just not going to talk somebody like Kevin into wanting to post twice a day, every day, right? You can do other things, Kevin. But what men want, and what I found, I sold businesses for a living for many, many years. That's what I did. I still own a business with all male partners. So I do run in the masculine side of things. But the guys that I know who I've put into this business love the business in general. They love the concept of it. They love the comp plan. Susan knows, we met Fred, who created the comp plan, and he showed it to us. The comp plan is insane once you understand it. So Jill, the fact that you know it from, I probably know the company that you worked for, one of them, because I knew several of those companies, but it is the detail side of it. But really, it just comes down to erasing everything you know about network marketing and looking at it from a business structure to take it to somebody like Kevin. Okay, so it's really, that's what we want to do. But I will say this, and this is where we can get in trouble. There are compliance things when it comes to business and network marketing. Kevin, you asked me what I meant by that the other day. Unfortunately, the FTC puts rules and restrictions, which I do know most of them, on these kinds of companies, on network marketing companies, because quite frankly, they're scared of us taking over the world. That's just what it is. Okay. So it's dumb. It's not fair. It's not right. So some stuff you can do online. If you're a regular company selling products from, I don't know, GNC, you can't do selling the same type of products through a network marketing company. You have to watch what you're doing, right? So what we have to do is take down the business side of this. And yes, the SOG and the system of growth and the posting twice a day is phenomenal. And most people will, let's see, Susan Cameron, what you did in 5 months is insane, right? What Susan Frank did is what brought me back out of retirement, because I watched her on my Facebook page just crushing it, you know? But here's the thing, I still own a big business. And I'm saying all this just so we all are looking at it from the same angle. So I own a business right now that I'm hoping to sell. I deal with billion-dollar companies every day. I deal with CFOs and CEOs, and I'm a COO myself. That's nothing to me. This is the kind of business you want, is this business. Okay. Kevin, you have a great business. I understand your business. I come from a construction background as well, and things that are in that type of business. Well, they're all great, but you're also limited in time and how many people you have to hire. You're also limited to region and area. So I was in real estate. I owned real estate brokerages for a long time, franchises, and you're limited to a territory. You are and you aren't. You can sell within your state. You can have licenses that cross state lines, but there are still only so many houses. And when 0708 hit, my 4 offices that were number 1 in the county were losing 10,000 a month. So it doesn't really matter. You can be number 1, but you can't control a real estate market. You can be number 1 at what Kevin does, but you can't control everything, right, Kevin? You can hire more people, you can expand your business, but all of that comes with headaches. What this business gives you, and all the businesses I've sold, is really just a way to build a legacy company. Chris Doyle, I was talking with him yesterday, and you know, he doesn't really work anymore, and yet he's made millions. If any of you don't know Chris, he's one of the people that he's the person that sponsored me, but he's made millions here as well. But he is truly on a walkaway income now. He kind of half is dabbling in it here and there, but he doesn't have to. He is able to pass that on to his grandkids. So that's what a lot of us don't have with the careers that we have. So if you're a realtor, and I don't believe anybody on here is a realtor, but you are absolutely insane to be a realtor compared to having this. Now, if you own a whole bunch of Airbnbs, that's great. Okay. That's value. I'm not knocking that. And that would be a passive income, but most people can't do that and do it well. And that world changes all the time too. And it once again also has to do with location, income, how much you can buy things for. So all I'm saying is we have to dial this in to the simplistic side of it being a business. For most people like Kevin, and I have this problem on my team, and some of you may, I have men on my team that love the compensation plan, but they're like, I'm just sorry, but I can't post a bunch of pictures of women in bathing suits or in underwear or in short shorts on my Facebook page. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it, right? And we all know CEOs and not CEOs, not even that level. Don't even go that high. Your typical salespeople. So I really want to look at this from a sales guy point of view, or a small business owner. And small business owners can make $500,000 a year or whatever. That's big business in some ways, but it's still a small business compared to big manufacturers or whatever. So those are the kind of people we're looking at: business-minded people, realtors, salespeople, small business owners, things like that, people that understand it. You really have to approach this more from this is a digital business or a virtual franchise. You have to take it from what they can comprehend. A GNC store is a good comprehension for most people. Okay. They don't know what a franchise for a GNC costs. They don't know what the cap ratio is or what the income level is. But most people that own a GNC have to own multiple GNCs. So same with the Subway. If you own a Subway sandwich shop, you have to own 15 Subway sandwich shops to make really good money. Okay. This is different. So we have to build it from an approach that says, listen, keep doing what you're doing. Don't quit your day job, right? They love being whatever they are. They love their title. I'm a whatever, right? I'm a, the sales manager of whatever, or I'm the owner of this, or I'm a realtor, right? Because I taught realtors for many years, so I can say that they think way more of themselves than they are. No offense if anybody is married to one or knows one or is one. I was too for a long time. But they get caught up in the title, and then the thoughts of being a network marketer. I mean, that is just Susan Frank's crazy. She's made more than almost every realtor I know times 10 or 100, but to them, she's just a network marketer, right? They're nuts. Okay. I'm talking about the realtors who think that way, because Susan Frank has got a business that everybody would love. Kevin, you'd love Susan Frank's business, wouldn't you?
Who would?
Yeah. I know I would too. I'm not there yet either. So but the point is, now we're trying to come up with a plan to make the men, not just men though, there's women career people. Okay. So when I say men,
absolutely,
we're talking about the men's system, because really the skinny drop system, this SOG, is very hard for men. Yes, Brent Palmer pulls it off. Yes, Todd Rowland pulls it off, but they don't. Okay. They do, but they don't. And I say that because they've just been in it too long. I have tried. I have men on my team right now, and they feel defeated right now because they don't know what to do. They're seeing all these women and they're like, maybe, this just isn't right. And Susan, when we sold what we sold in our previous company, that was right up men's alley. We could sell that all day long to men. As a matter of fact, they jumped on quicker than the women did, probably, or as quick, and they crushed it. So,
and the thing with Brent and Todd, if you look at them, they're not truly following the system of growth. The only thing they're running on is their track record of being in the industry. So I don't even think it's fair to say, hey, it's working for them, because what they're running on as men is people like us that have joined them that are succeeding at the system of growth, because they're not doing what I do every day.
I agree with that, Susan. And from my perspective, they're not true business people. They were a coach and a principal. Like, that's not an entrepreneur like Kevin. For all of them, I think they're incredible, right? And Todd's the reason, just like Susan Frank's the reason, like, my business has done what it is. Like, that guy, I'll call him and he's Johnny on the spot. What do you need? Where do you go? I mean, he's flying, driving, he's amazing. But they don't have that same vision and that same perspective. But I think you hit the nail on the head. I've got a new team that's going in Florida. timeshare sales, construction sales, timeshare sales, they're all making a good living. And 3 of them were huge service business owners of landscaping companies, a plumbing company. You know what I'm saying? So they've made the big bucks. Like they've made the big bucks over here, they've made the big bucks over there. So I agree, Cindy, this is men's business builders, but it's also the women more like us
Right.
as well.
That's right. So for me, Susan, I'm a good example of it right now. Like the business I own, I cannot post like you guys can right now. Now I'm trying to sell the business, but I have contracts with government agencies and some of these people that my LinkedIn's checked all the time. And I'm having to negotiate. What I do is negotiate contracts. It is a very tight spot, but I know that this is my retirement plan, right? I'll make money selling that company. That money does not go for the next 40 years. And I'm hoping that these products keep me alive for the next 40 years, right? Or whatever. So it's not going to make it there. This is my retirement plan. And I'll flip that switch. So Kevin, you said something the other day, or Susan, Susan Cameron and I were talking about this. So we need a plan that we put out for them that's simplistic, but it's about these good products. First of all, everything has to be based on sales. What do sales guys know? I don't care if it's timeshare salesman. I don't care what it is. You have to trade a customer for dollars, right? It's customer for dollars. So it's sales. So what speaks to salespeople is we're coming together to sell volume. Susan, how many dollars worth of products did your team sell one weekend? I'm like, what? They sold what? You guys had like some insane number of sales, right? It was huge. So the point is, when you talk to them about, listen, we put a handful of people together to push volume, sales volume. Okay. Everybody in the business world can understand sales volume. So it's to push sales volume through a business. And we just we each do our part and we share in that sales volume. Our teams share in that. So you kind of get them the concept that we open up distribution centers and that when everybody sells a little, that volume comes together as a team and pushes through. But you have to break it down from a business point of view. And I think the matching pay is the big money here long-term. If you're going to build long-term, it's the matching bonus. There's zero question on that. Okay. Base pay, if you're doing it just 100 PV a week or 100 PV a month, that's going to take you forever. It just is. Okay. You have to build a really, really, really big team if you're focused on that. So I think what we have to do is a presentation that takes it in from running volume almost through a team of people. And so Kevin, could you introduce us to a handful of people who have some influence and who would know, maybe they would have wives or they would have some people that aren't afraid to get on social media and can help us spread the word about our products, right? They'll make some money. And if you introduce us, you can kind of lead that team. You could make some good money, right? It's kind of that way. It's kind of taking us to your influence. I know, Kevin, you're not going to post twice a day, but can you help us bring some people together that would for your team? Can you put some people in a room that we can talk to? It's kind of that perspective. But what they have to understand is the big picture, that they're not doing it to make $30 a week. No offense to any of our people that are, my sister is selling a 10-pack a week and she has been for 6 months. Well, that's $700 or whatever, right? In her pocket. That's good for her household to get that extra $700. But if she doesn't convert them to business partners, as Susan knows, you just have a job. None of your business guys want another job. None of them want another job. I can promise you that. They're busy doing what they're doing. And they have to see, you can't really show them the big money to get them in. That's what the FTC won't let us do.
Back that up again. What will they won't let you show dollar amounts?
You can't really show the big money in a direct way that you know how I showed you that form where you say what you can do. So you have to work around it. You have to work around it with the FTC by talking about volume and talking about, like, make it into a bigger picture, right? Make it into a bigger picture. So you can't go showing your talking
So
about,
we can't show that matching check, the 4x4. We can't show them that.
you can in the right process. Yes, you can. You
So
can.
you can kind of help us design, like, you know, the
Yes.
rules enough to say, okay, we can do this, guys. We can't do this.
Yeah, I think I need to understand these rules and what you can, that'll help me understand.
Yeah,
what
and
it
corporate has a recording of it, but I've actually studied it a little bit because I also do online marketing for our other company, one of my other companies. And there's even FTC rules for everybody on online marketing, and Jill might be aware of some of those. It's some of it's silly, and it's just really a matter of disclaimers. And so a lot of it we can solve by disclaimers. Okay. This is just an example if, right? Those kind of things. You can't make sure it's an income claim or a guarantee. Susan Frank makes what Susan Frank makes. So hers is not, but she has to say, my results aren't typical. They make you say that, right? Well, they aren't typical, but they could be if everybody worked as hard as Susan Frank or Susan Cameron, right? So, yet when I bought franchises, they give you an entire layout of what you can make, what your projection would be for year one, what your projection would be for year two, before you even pay for the franchise and sign it. We can't do that here, not really. And that's what hurts us in this industry. It's unfair, to be honest. It's not fair, but it's just something we have to be aware of because we don't want to get the company shut down. That would be not good for any of us by breaking the rules. And we certainly don't want to get ourselves in a lawsuit individually, right? So we can do it. I'm just saying, when you're thinking about it, just remember there are some rules. And Kevin, I'll find that video and send it over to you guys so you can look at it. Susan, you may know, Susan Frank probably knows a lot of it. She's been around long enough to know. And we had issues in our last company because too many people were just talking about recruiting, right? As long as you always keep it about the sales volume at the end of the day, that's going to be your safety net. Okay. So what I'm saying is the FTC looks at it, and you're talking about customer gathering. What are you guys doing right now? You're posting on Facebook all day long, right? You're teaching the system of growth. What is that for? It's to sell body balancing drops. That is to get customers. That you can do all day long. Okay. Because that's about customer gathering. You just can't do it based on just recruiting. So Kevin, you talked about, could we get people who would recruit people? I know actual business recruiters, headhunters. I've thought this way before. I'm like, hey, we'll just get some headhunters to hunt us down some people that could sell, right?
Right.
You can, but you can't. Okay. You can, but you have to show it to them differently. You can't say it to them that way, really, right? Recruiting's fine. We can recruit. It's not a bad word. But we have to recruit salespeople to help us sell these great products. We have to recruit salespeople to build teams of salespeople.
Can you say it like I'm recruiting people to get healthy and wealthy? I mean, because you're selling them the product, you're wanting to see that result. So you're tying the two together. Is it okay if you tie the two together?
You can. Yeah. You say you can build a real nice living this way. Owning your own distribution center of really great products. You're going to love the products. They're going to make you healthy. But on top of that, we're going to show you a way that you can systemize. So if a salesperson can see a system, that's what we're needing to build. So you know how the system of growth is a system for sales? Here's my only problem with it. Too many people they're making the money up front. We need the volume for what they're selling. When they buy 30 packs, that's volume. That's great for the company. That's great for those of us who have teams that are sending the volume through the teams. And it's good for them because they're making weekly money into their household or daily money or whatever. So those are all good things. But to a salesperson or a business person, they need to see a little bit more long-term. They don't want a job to sell 10 boxes of Slenderize per week. They want to see how they build a team. How do I build a team of people? But Susan, you guys are doing how many Zooms a day? I know yesterday I was gone all day in South Carolina doing 2-on-1s, and I did a drop talk. But you're doing a lot a day, right? Zoom wise?
Yeah, we are.
Most of these guys, Kevin, you don't have time to do that. I'm guessing. I'm putting words in your mouth, but I just know because I know that's how people are. And he makes too much money to walk away from that just to do this. So what we're trying to do, but people they want to do this. They want to be able to transition from that over to here.
So as you're saying that right now, two things that are coming to my mind is I wrote down what we originally talked about, kind of the way that you laid it out, Cindy, and I'll tell them what that was that I originally pitched to Kevin. A lot of it's what you're currently saying. But then with Kevin, for example, if we can kind of get right, the system, part of this system is going to be like a business plan. Part of the system is going to be a quick presentation that Kevin talking to a buddy, the buddy might be like, hey, I'm busy as crap, but what do you have right now? Boom. Screen share, show them that here's a 5-minute breakdown.
5 minutes.
Something. And Kevin, you take 5 minutes to do that and maybe not need us to always tee it up to get us to close. Because me and Susan Frank can always get people, and that's how we build so fast, right? We get them on and we zoom right at that moment. So that, I think, like the business plan, okay, the text scripts, like a board's the text script to invite, like him talking to a buddy, a quick template to show your virtual franchise and distribution, and then a quick presentation. And then we talked about having a funnel that comes in that we can help manage these teams and manage these people and train these people. And let me read what Cindy originally said, and then we'll talk about how to evolve that to be an exclusive for the women that the men bring in, an exclusive 6-figure earning club. This is going to be all about exclusivity because and we're all the top of the company. So why wouldn't they want to do that with us? And then that's when we put our other skills, Letty, like belief work and this, you know what I mean? Like we really have a whole team of these people. But what Cindy said that originally got me so interested is she said, we're going to help you start distribution centers. She said, I own 4 offices. That cost me over $1 million. We're talking about basically no overhead here. These are basically a franchise with a done-for-you system. We are going to open locations all over the U.S., all over the world. We need you to get 40 women who want to make $500 to $1,000 a week or a month, who want to have fun, who want to sell some drops and get their family members healthy, their kids healthy, get everybody healthy. And we're going to show you how to place these women into your business. And then we're going to start asking you questions. How many lives do you need to optimize in those businesses to actually retire? And then we start do you need 2 lines? Do you need 3 lines? Do you need 4 lines? And then Cindy kind of came up with this amazing, I thought it was an amazing kind of business plan that's going to start walking them through like, well, what are you talking about? Boom, here's a 3-page document. This is what I'm talking about. When can we talk? So that's kind of our idea because, and you can kind of elaborate on that, Cindy, like, Kevin's originally thought was like, okay, I'm going to call my buddies up and I'm going to say, buy a 30 pack. You just need to buy a 30 pack. And you know what I mean? We're going to leverage that. And I'm like, well, the problem is, babe, we have to have their contacts, but we also have to have them be a little involved to kind of hold them accountable and motivate them a little bit. So Cindy kind of came up with the idea to say, okay, we're going to show you how to work 5 or 10 hours a week. Yeah. Right? A little investment, but they still have an investment. Okay, I'll let you take it from there.
No, that was it. You summed it up very nicely. That's really it.
What you're thinking about from a funnel standpoint, how we support this. So say Kevin brings in the 4x4. The 4 gets 4 business builders, and those 4 right now at 16, now at 64. And me and Cindy's like, how are we going to train these people? How are we going to keep up with their customers? How are we really going to elevate all these women that they bring in, funnel them out? And that's when Cindy said it's the conversations, it's the exclusivity, and maybe we make them buy in with a lot more than a $2,300 starter pack. Right, you're going to do a $2,300 starter pack, and to be part of our mastermind, you can invest for your wife a $5,000 fee where we're going to train her for 6 months.
Yeah, it could be something like that. Train a trainer for them.
The wives.
Any trainer, I love it. And some of these people are big mastermind people. People would throw out some money to be part of the exclusive club. The exclusive club, if it has no price tag, it's not really exclusive.
Yeah.
Or, I mean,
that's a monthly fee, a a monthly fee as long as, no obligation, but you're paying that monthly fee to have that kind of level of support.
Ooh, and then it kind of includes the virtual assistant, maybe, where they can hire. You know what I mean? Where does all, right? This is completely foundational brainstorming of kind of how we build this new system out.
Yeah, and I really think where you have to watch, it's really because all the, let's just call them women, right? With the women, the wives or whoever they are, and that's not to be judging them as male or female, but that's who's going to most likely post twice a day. Those people are really just going to follow the SOG, but we have to have a way to onboard them and help them, because these guys aren't going to be able to, they're not going to be able to do it. And you guys only have so much time, right? I mean, we all do. We can only do so many drop talks a day and so many phone calls a day and Zooms a day. So it would be putting it into a funnel system, which is actually a membership site. So a membership site is part of a funnel system. And it basically, they have to log in to get into it. It's similar to your own back office now at PartnerCo, but it's a separate back office. They sign into it every time you go in, and it can have a series of videos. It can even get them a certification at the end of it. It can have sections. It doesn't unlock the next video until they finish the first video. You can do as much or as little as you want. You can even do a little making sure they understood it or whatever. And maybe even, I don't know if you could assign them a mentor. What you don't want to do is get it too technical that it's too overwhelming and too hard. It has to be so simplistic, and it can't take up much time, and it can't take up our time. Like, it can't take up, we're all at capacity anyway in most of what we do. So it just has to help speed that along, make a little bit of it more automated, I guess would be the right way to put it, right? But I just think it's really, now it's down to getting that 5-minute presentation for those guys, because that's all they have. And they need it simplistic. They need it simplistic. So the comp plan, I think I have a couple ways we can lay that out. We just have to remember to put the disclaimers in there, and we have to make sure that when these people share it, that they know they can't say something really rogue, like, we're gonna go make $1 million this month, don't say anything rogue, crazy numbers, but there's big money in it if they build, but it is dependent on, still they have to do something, so I guess the next step would be, does anybody have any thoughts on, Susan, Frank, I don't know if you can talk. I know you're probably picking up your son, but do you have any thoughts with the men you've worked with in the past? I don't know if she can unmute yet.
Yeah, it's always been the way I built before is just painting the picture on what they could accomplish. And I'll venture and say, like, I wouldn't say give them the hours, like how much they want to give per week, because that's exactly what they'll give, that or less. So I just like really painted the picture, like, listen, if you want to make 6-7 figures here, like, let's go, we can make that happen on the side. So that way, because the more they make and the more they see coming in, the more they put into it, and the more time they didn't have, they find.
That is a very good point. Very good point.
He's so smart too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very good.
That is true. And I like the way you just said that.
Yeah, saying more like, if you want to make 6 or 7 figures here, we'll take you and show you how to do it. You just got to commit and hop in and follow what we're telling you. Right. So maybe it is.
And the follow what we're telling you ties all back to finding the women that will do it. Mm-hmm. It's really, because there's been people just like,
in addition to signing up more of your buddies.
So Kevin sees it like a machine.
I see it like signing up another recruiter is, that's one bucket, and the other bucket is whatever girls they have put in it, and whatever girls I can find to put in separate bucket. You got store owners and you got people that are trying to find store owners. That's kind of how I see it. So recruiters finding the person that wants to be a store owner, but they're also looking for other recruiters.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Yep. That's actually it's the right mindset. Your picture, your vision is exactly right. Wording
right.
it,
and whether like tweaking the language, right, and how that works, because you think about like real estate, like, I think about a few couples that are just in real estate, and there's a lot of people that are in real estate as a couple, aren't there? Like there are a couple, and then people are working, like they're working 70 hours a week. So they could almost be more of your recruiters that they're finding us the team of women and all the other real estate women that they know, for example, that, okay, you've got 100 people in your offices. What if we could get a quarter of these? What if we get 25 of them in for $450, get them started at $450, right there, the money you would quickly make, and then teach them how to build with those people. But I think it's kind of, I think like last night, Jill and I kind of had an opportunity if we would have had this planned out. Like we had a guy that came in, he was a coach, he was all into jujitsu, and he bought a HotWorks place, right, Jill? And we're kind of pitching to him our regular 30-pack, thing. And you could tell like this guy, he wasn't really buying into, you know what I mean?
Putting the product in a vending machine. He's like, I'm not doing all that. But if we could have talked to him this way, it's like, because he can't actually grow his franchise anymore. His plan's messed up because someone came in and got a HotWorks here. So he's like, I don't know what to do, but he needs to grow.
He would be one of my first targets.
I think you can go back to all your customers now too and say, hey, I know this person, I know you didn't want to do it because your time commitment to your business and all that. We've got an alternative. We have something new for you guys.
Way to look at it.
So I feel like every one of y'all could probably go down to your contact list and go through it and uncover new prospects that are you've already talked to them. Or
what do you think about from the health standpoint from the guys? Like Kevin is really big on, we need to get like whenever they get started with their pack, right? Their ultimate pack. He's like, we need to have like the men's. It's like, I know you aren't big on the product packs, right? And that's why it didn't work before. But he's like, really, there are products like the Moa, the Renew, the drops for the men. And if we could kind of get some men's testimony at how their body physically changed. Like Kevin's got a great one. This guy, Scott Burton, that was on that call, that owns 4 different businesses. And he did a video with his labs, his 90-day labs. And he got 5 of his friends that are all massive ranchers, business builders, all calling him to say, what are these drops? All right, I need them. So for me, that almost needs to be our strategy for building the men, is they all have, especially these salespeople, business owners, they all are getting high blood pressure, their testosterone's tanking, their body fat, you know what I mean, is going up and their muscle is going down, and everybody's starting to get worried about borderline type 2 diabetes. There's labs. Here's the packet, how I started, and here's how it shifted. So for Kevin, he started working out every day. For Scott started exercising for the first time in 30 years after he criticized his wife for putting these crazy drops under her tongue. So kind of storytelling, like men have stories. And we try to go straight for the emotional for the women. But, guys want to hear the story of like, okay, what did it do for you?
Yeah, for me, it was an energy boost as much as anything, so that was, and I really was doubting them. So, the fact to see a result when you're already you're already saying, oh, this ain't going to do anything. For me, that's the feeling I had when I started taking them. And next thing you know, I have more energy and there's something here, so, and it wasn't just the drops for me. It was a combination of other products too. And I think that's big to me. I guess this could be, one guy could sell a different way or whatever, but for my personal testimony, if I'm signing up a buddy, I want to have a 3-minute conversation. Like, what's ailing you? What's your problems? Because my one might be good for this. And I don't even, there's different products I would recommend depending on that person. I want them to have at least a 30, 60-day supply of that for them. And then the rest of it could be the drops to put in other people's hands. I feel like if they're having personal results, they're going to continue this path and their subscription.
Exactly. And that was what Kevin's point was too. He was like, babe, if we could bring them in, he said, I don't know all the questions to answer, but maybe it's as part of like, you sign on, you also get us as like, we're exclusive health coaches for you. Here's your 15-minute consult. And this is where the funnel comes in, right? There's your little calendar invite. You're meeting with Jill. You're meeting with Letty. You're meeting with Susan Frank, with Susan Cameron, with Cindy. And you say, okay, this is 15 minutes to coach you. I'm going to get you started on your product. Let's see what you're struggling with. Now we have a benchmark, a baseline in a form. right? And then we start helping them build their story. Do you have any of your past labs? Shoot them over to me. It'd be cool if we could put that in some type of portal and then make them go back to the doctor in 90 days. And if they think they're going back to the doctor, they're going to do it. And you're going to build your business based on you being a walking billboard.
Yeah, your personal results is going to reflect your business results.
Depth. But if I'm a business owner and I'm making 500 grand, like you can bring something to me that's really going to radically change my health. And that's why I'm in this business today, right? Radically change my wealth. Like if you could show me that, and if everybody where they feel so overwhelmed, and like him saying, I have extra energy, we all feel so overwhelmed. We feel like we do not have the capacity to do anything. So Kevin's like, if you can feeling better in 30 days, then they're ready to work because they freaking feel good.
And they already came in with the 30 pack. We're not sitting there at day 28 trying to get them to, it's the last Friday, you know, nothing wrong with that, but I know you guys play that game with so many clients, and it's added challenges, if you will.
Good.
Yeah.
So I think a series of, I don't know if everybody has a few men who are businessmen. I know I do, who have testimonials, but where we could just take a bunch of 15-second clips of, you know, I'm Kevin, I own two businesses, right? You own two businesses. So I own two businesses. I'm very busy. My wife tried to tell me to take these products. What I can't believe is that they worked. You know, I feel so much better, but then I was blown away about the potential and the income that I saw my wife earn, right? So it's 15 seconds, or it's 10 seconds, it's 10 seconds, it's 10 seconds. And it's a minute of 10 guys saying, you know, and they're business type people, but they're landscapers, they're truck drivers, they're, you know, executives, they're realtors, whatever. So if we could get that into that little presentation or something, I think that might be good too, right? Where it's talking about both the health and the money. Where it's saying, then I realized this was a real business. I didn't think this was a real business. Now, you know, I've been in business my whole life, right? Now I know what it is. And then we can do things from perspectives, because we need both women and men. I don't know if you have a man version and a woman and man business version, or just a business version in general, but with a heavy to the men, right? You may want to do that, but to have a little, you know, a clip where, you know, something about that makes common sense. So when you talk about people who have territories, Jill, you were talking about he had a territory, he was running out of area, right? He can only do so big of an area. That's the case with most people in their businesses. They're still limited. Without buying more locations, they're still stuck within a radius, no matter what it is they own. So if you can put that into 10 seconds of the video to make what you want to do is
right. What we're offering you is scalability.
Make them realize that they fall into that category and this one isn't that category. You know, Susan may have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think stressing like, hey, it's all the United States and over 50 other countries we can expand. Like it costs us nothing except time to show the next person the opportunity. Like it's incredible. We open franchises for free. It costs us nothing but time. And I think we have to be really careful of saying, hey, get the wife, because we don't want to pitch this as a wife business, because then we'll never grow the man side. Like I never built with men and said, hey, go grab your wife. I didn't. Like I built with them. I felt some men, they got to claim it for them to really do it. And they don't want their wife in their way. And it's their wife's business and they don't want nothing to do with it. So I think we have to be really careful. Like if we can incorporate them, great. But if we can build with a business mind person and a guy and build them up, like, hey, you're like, I'm doing it. You surely can do this. I think that's the big deal, because not every guy looks at a business. Like some guys will say, well, gosh, if you're making that, I can go kill it. Well, good, I'll help you. So I think we have to be really careful, because if I would have pitched my other business, like, hey, go get your wife to work. Like some of them don't want to work with their wife. Like even if we work with them, we just devalue the opportunity for them, for some men.
See, and I've seen some men that have came in here into my business, and I don't know, Cindy, with the guys that you've signed up, like when we were talking about, you did a presentation for 10 and 8 of them came in. Good point, Susan. But some of the guys that I've seen come in that their wife isn't kind of linked in, they're trying to post on the system of growth, using it, you know what I mean? Their wife's kind of checked out, so she's really not in it. And I always see like that's kind of a weird separation when this could really be something that they do together. But maybe that is true. Do you feel like you don't want to work with your wife?
No, I just think every situation is going to be different. You can't make assumptions on anybody's relationship and how they work together.
And kind of,
Maybe they love not working together, and maybe they love working together. But I wouldn't
Hey,
make
no
that-
pressure since your wife's asking you the question.
I mean, what's it like? And I hope we get to the next level.
I'll leave it one straight.
So strangely enough, the guys the ones I've brought in the last so many months that are all business guys, none of their wives are involved.
And is
No.
that why they're not going though? Is
They
that
went-
why they're not
Well,
duplicating?
it might be they love they love the compensation. Like they love the concept of the franchise, Susan. They love the fact that it's not in an area. And what's really weird is just like Kevin said, they love the products. Every one of them have a product story, right? So it's really interesting because they do.
And I feel like if their wife was behind them running their mouth, telling everybody, then that's kind of that feminine bringing, like, and I may be totally off here, but that's interesting that you're saying none of the wives are involved and none of them are doing jack crap. So
Yeah.
that's almost a statistical thing we should look at. And I'm looking at who I brought into my business, and it's the exact same story. The only one that's really doing anything and kind of bringing people in is the ones that are linked with their wives.
Well, I think
I have a very tiny pool to pull from, and really no experience in how men build networks either.
I think what Susan said does have truth, because some of the guys I came in that don't have their wives working with them, they think they're the business mind, right? That their wife isn't or whatever. So they see it as a business, so it's their business. That's kind of how they view it. But then they struggle because they don't want to post women's pictures of weight loss on which is why they talked about doing just a men's version of it, but which could work. But I think what Susan's saying, where it's valid, is just don't tell them what to think. You could make a suggestion, do you, so you're married, do you and your wife like to work together, or do you not? Like, you could ask them, right? And then make a suggestion and say, I know a lot of women don't have any problem posting, but that's maybe one way to handle it. But I kind of agree with Susan on the fact that some men don't
lead with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't lead with that. Don't try to build it. That makes sense. Don't try to build it with that. And the beautiful thing is, once they get on these products for 30, 60, 90 days, their relationship with their wife, their ability to work with their wife, because she's going to shift so much energetically and hormonally. They both are.
Yeah.
Right. Where if you approach it and they're like, you don't understand, she's nagging, complaining, she's perimenopausal, she's a nightmare.
Kevin's saying nothing. He's like, I say nothing right now.
All I want, Kevin, is 30 pack. We'll talk that.
Well, I think it's really, like I said, I think it's not forgetting what you're doing right now with the SOG and the stuff you're building. It's just adding this in. It's getting this built. So you do have an answer for those guys who are like, I just can't post like this. How do I get this thing going? And giving them a way to talk to other men, and also business people who are just like, I need to see it from a business perspective, not from the masculine type of female, where they need to see the business mind of it. I mean, Susan, you came in, same reason I did. We came in for the business. We were hoping that the products were really good at the time when we came in, and the products are phenomenal, so.
Let me ask you guys this, Cindy, when you and Susan did y'all's business before, and I know it's a little bit different because it's service and not products, did it feel like it was more, or maybe I should shift it into the way we do business now, right? Since COVID with Zoom and all that, like, how impactful are the parties where we put a group of 10 business people in a room together versus having a phone conversation and just screen sharing one-on-one? Like, do you have thoughts in terms of kind of like, is it more in person? Is it Zoom? Like, what do y'all see be the most impactful? when building with the men, for example, or business people.
I've definitely done it both ways. A lot of the people I've put in are people I knew were business people. They don't live near me. So a lot of them I did do via Zoom, but I always did in person before. I mean, that's the way we built. We did build a lot in person, but Zoom it didn't even come into play till we were leaving there and coming to this company. So, I do have a much better, I think I am better in person than I am on Zoom. It's just who I am, but you can't be everywhere. So being in person is hard. It limits you. Um, you know, I have a guy right now. I'm doing Zooms even tonight for 4 different countries, and they're all are men and all are business minded people. They're looking at it for the business, but they actually, it's kind of that really hard to come up with, but I still don't have a perfect system. So, for showing
And
it.
do you have like, what are the 4 countries? And those 4 countries, do you kind of have a boards done where they can come in and link people into an SOG to kind of start plugging the women in?
Well, I do. So Canada's one of them. Indonesia's one. So Lucy hooked me up with the head of Indonesia. And I actually have one in the UK, which is from one in Ghana, but Ghana's not even in there. So the Ghana guys having to use either South Africa or, Nigeria's stuff. And it's very complicated, but all of them are wanting the information on building a business globally because they all do business with people in other countries. So all of them are going to be building on Zooms on those ones, but those are unusual. Those are people from my team who led me to these people. So it's not.
Gotcha.
If
Okay.
they were my people, I would love to throw a business seminar with 10 men and or not men, business minded people. I'm saying men now too, but I know
Yeah.
I'm a woman in business. I know a lot of women in business, right? So anybody business minded, I would love a business opportunity meeting where they're learning the business side of it.
Right. And we keep it simple to Zoom, like Susan and I. Well, Letty too. Letty hadn't traveled anywhere. Like we've all built like, this kind of how we build. I was just thinking kind of like the Morrisville, Lexington area, right? Do we try to kind of fill them people up in a room, get together? And then if we do that, do we get them together and do something fun? Like Top of Golfer, you know what I mean? Like Kevin's like, we need to do something fun. Like people need something fun, like a little bit of fun. I think the business is one thing, but if you can get them out of that,
Yeah, I mean, meeting at the basement of the church, I'd have trouble rounding up my buddies versus something different. But if you're trying to do an in-person meeting, I think it's church and it's saying, guys, don't want to sit in a room. It could be whatever.
Yeah, and your other thing is just their time, their free time. Do they have free time to get them all into, can you get them all together? It depends on what they do for a living.
Phone calls and screen share with that 5-minute presentation. Here's you the document. Who do we want to talk to next? Link you up with who's compatible.
And if you think about it, if they see that it only took Kevin 5 minutes, 10 minutes of their time, then they think it only take me 10 minutes of my time. Right.
That's what Susan Frank always says. That's right. Not needing to drive somewhere, not needing to, that's exactly right.
Yeah, if it feels like it takes 2 to 10 hours to close the buddy, then they're going to feel that too for their buddy. You know what I mean? Like, I like the quick one. And you know what? If they say no, I think it's important to ask, well, who do you know that might be interested? Who does it sound like a good fit for?
That would all be in a little business boards. Yeah. Right. Exactly what you're saying. Okay. This is the conversation. This is what the follow-up is. Just, and it'd be so simple. It'd just be so simple that they have.
It has to be simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you girls think? What do you girls think? And what do we want our next steps to be?
So I just signed up a guy on Sunday. He came in as Ultimate. And the reason he came in as Ultimate was his wife mentioned Noni, and he had a great Noni experience 20 years ago. And so he said, I am not posting on Facebook, but he belongs to men's groups. So I reached out to Ken and said, hey, can you do a 5-minute video explaining the comp plan? And he said, Todd's making one. And I said, okay, can you make one? Because I think he'll explain it differently. And so I don't know if he's doing it this week or not, but I thought a 5 to 7 minute video is something that Chris can show the guys at his men's group just check this out. You know, I'm just getting started and see how that goes.
Yeah, I think that 5-minute comp plan with exactly what Cindy
Mhm.
said, and I know me and Susan Frank are not the technical, get our videos together, so we can do exactly what you tell us, but it's not our jam at all. We're always
Right.
going like, no, that's definitely not us. But that 1 minute, Letty, running around that we didn't even know this was a real business.
Yeah.
When we got
Mhm.
healthy, I started seeing her knock it down. You know what I mean? And this is what it did for my health. And boom, boom, boom. I think if you have the health, I didn't think it was a business and this really is going to work. And this is how the comp plan works. And then you're going to go find the women to build with. That is the important, that's what we have not been good at so far, in my opinion, is like find the 10 to 40 women who want to make $500 to $1,000. Are we going to say a week or month, Cindy?
Well, it's, if they sell a 10-pack a week, it's $500 a week, right? $500-$600 a week.
Okay, perfect. So, and who wants to have fun and travel? Like, you know, like, and something you were saying is kind of like, and the wives make that kind of money, or the wives make 6 figures. Like, a lot of the men have problems with how much money their wives are spending.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you mean you can make her money instead of keep costing me money?
Yeah, I think keeping it short and to the point, but making it from a business point of view and just saying, listen, if you're watching this, you're probably business minded, right? Because we know we're only giving it to business minded people or whatever, that kind of case. And so I
do
want
this video instead of Ken Bailey to do this video.
just, if you're business minded, then we're glad you're here because we have something you will want to see. You don't want to miss it, right? You'll miss your chance. And this company, we can say this company has a plan to go to $1 billion. Right now it's $400,000 company, $400 million company. You don't want to miss it, right? You just make a bold statement somewhere throughout that, at the end, at the beginning, somewhere in there. So pay attention close, because, you know, if you blink, you'll miss it. Because you know how people half watch a video. Pay attention. Give them something that they watch it for. If they're business minded, they're all over the place. So you need to make sure they're dialed in to it, I think.
Good point.
But it's kind of maybe scripting what you're thinking. It may be getting a couple people. If it's a video, can we clip a handful of people? And Jill or I don't know, Letty, are either of you good at video clipping or video splicing at all? I can do some video stuff, but I know there's people better than I am, but I do have people I can get to do it for us. But I'm just wondering if we can get a bunch of little clips. If you guys have several men that would give a 10-second video
I can do
clip.
it with Canva.
Okay. And then, yeah, I've used Canva to do it. So, but you probably do it better than I would. And Susan, do you have some men that might want to give a 10-second? Like, we could just give them like kind of a blurb of how we want them to say it, real short and sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I've got several too that I could get to do it.
and I think Susan, you know, I think maybe somebody edifying Susan Frank, or, you know, #1 in the world last year. I mean, you know, you both have numbers, you could all edify each other, but I'm saying, I think there's something there that even though Susan is, you know, a mom and a female, she's big business builder. Susan is a big business builder, right? And so I don't know, but having somebody else just seal up a quick little verb there, a little blurb, and then really just say, here's what we're doing. And you don't want to miss out on it. We're going to show you how to do it, but we're going to $1 billion company. And this is not one you're going to want to look back at and think you missed. You could have been involved in, right? You want to make a statement, a strong, bold statement, because that's what catches their attention. But it needs to not be cheesy or salesy. It just needs to be bold and to the point, you know, after they hear enough. Or before
Yeah, and give them that fear of missing out. That's right. I mean, that's right. That's how everybody brings people in. So yeah, if we kind of come up with the blurb of what we need, because we don't need people talking 45 seconds or a minute and a half.
No,
right. Here, boom. Next one, here. And so Cindy, maybe you have an idea of what that would be, and then we can contact people and send it out to them.
What I can do
is instructions about lighting, or how to you guys, like how the camera needs to be turned, right? There's always those weird little nuances that are more helpful and make it look better.
Yeah, anybody that has any tips on that besides me, that's welcome it. But what I can do is send the video breakdown that I see it, and then you guys all put your feedback in it and then figure out who you want in the video, right? What structure you want. But I can get that to you guys by probably tomorrow, 1 o'clock or something. I have 2 more presentations tonight on Zoom, and then I'm booked up in the morning for a few hours. So it probably would be noon or 1 before I could get the full breakdown to you guys. Is that fine? Of what I see. You guys can do your own breakdown because I'm not in charge here. I'm just trying to give
No,
you.
I think though you've got the vision for it. I think you kind of strategically see it. And so I think we're all fine and saying, okay, let's follow on. And I really like the idea personally of you guys for the next 4 to 8 weeks that we set a weekly, right? We have a weekly meeting. At the end of it, we say, these are our action items. And then midweek, we say, okay, this coming Wednesday, we're going to make sure this is our bite size, right? This is our overall vision. And let's move it through the pipeline, what we're going to do. And then we're going to have some practice rounds. So Kevin's going to reach out and invite 4 people. Cindy's going to get 2 people, Susan, Frank, right? And we just need to kind of start practicing with this. Like, I think our goal should be to really be pitching this within. This is what my intuition says. Within 4 weeks, we need to be ready to rock and start pitching it, at least initially pitching it, refine, get all the pipelines, the funnels and stuff going. And by 12 weeks, I feel like we need to be grinding. Like, that may be too aggressive. I'm always aggressive, so that may not.
No,
even
I think
be
that's
around.
very doable. It's very
Okay.
doable. That's
And I
very.
also have ADD. So if we get this doing and we get it going, like I'm plugged in, me and Susan's plugged in. If we don't, like we're like, here, let's, we need another line. So
Right.
we'll kind of be on to the next level.
Let's talk about line 6.
Yeah, that's what we need to talk about. Letty's like, oh, did anybody start that message with the Spanish? Get the Spanish boards going and the Telegram, and I'm just like, no, I don't have anybody yelling at me from that speaks Spanish. So I was like, no, that's already went out the window. I'm on to the next thing, Letty. So yeah. And do you guys have like a day of the week or a time that's normally better for you? Susan, is 4 kind of hard for you for pickup? Like, what time of the day do you prefer?
It just depends on the day, but my kids are in school till 2:15. So
Kind of earlier in the day.
yeah, like it starts getting off the chain with running around after that. But I can still make stuff work. I just might be driving or something.
And I'm usually flexible as long as I know what we're going to do. I'll just put it into my schedule. It depends.
Yeah, I think Letty's pretty flexible. Jill's pretty flexible. I'm pretty flexible. So do we want to go ahead and pick a day and a time?
Sure.
Okay. Do we want to do like Wednesdays at lunch?
I'm good then.
Yes.
Is that good for y'all? Wednesday, Susan, you good for Wednesday at noon? You probably pull off it.
Hang on, I'm pulling up my calendar. Make sure. 12th. Oh, you're gonna kill me. I have a massage appointment the 12th.
Okay, so do you want to do
So it's 11:30 to 12:30.
okay, so you want to do
So I could do it at
1
12:30?
o'clock, so that way you're back home.
Perfect. 1 o'clock would be amazing.
Let's just set that up. Everybody put that recurring on your calendar
Okay.
for the next several weeks.
And if y'all have men before and after pictures, like send it and I can start putting that in boards with some text scripts.
That would be awesome. I think I have a guy right now. I've been helping. I've got 2 guys that have almost 200 pounds to lose. One of them's lost 138 already.
Dang.
200. Yeah. Yep. So
Okay, and we can reach out on Team Unstoppable chats and Team Unstoppable Facebook, and let's just go ahead and start asking them. All right, who's got your husbands or your customers that we
And
can?
I've asked Todd, but Cindy, maybe if you ask Todd and you ask Todd, Susan, and Letty, you ask Todd, and Jill, you ask Todd, maybe somebody will get it.
I'm gonna get it, Susan, because I'm vicious. I'll go after. I'm gonna get it. I'm not messing around. I'm not nice like you, Susan. I'm real like what are you doing? I need this now. Susan
wrong with
needs
you?
this
What's
now.
wrong
What are
with
you
you?
doing?
Perfect,
What's wrong with
Cindy.
you?
Maybe I'll just leave you in charge. Usually I'm like, okay, I'm gonna assign everybody to do it. Maybe he'll pay attention to one of us.
Yeah, no, I mean, he hopefully will. But I also, you can always call you can always get him in trouble and call Ashley and say, Ashley, Todd will not get us the stuff we've asked him for. And she'll go, what?
Yeah, it's probably a good point too. And a final thought about you guys with, there's a lot of us that, people that are 40, 50 and 60 that now have these 20, 25 and 30-year-old kids, right? Kind of like we're seeing Brett Palmer's son kind of come up through this business. Something I'm curious, and I don't know if this is the Partners Council or who this is, but what about the 28-day challenge that everybody just did? Was there any young people that submitted pictures and a testimonial? Like, it would be amazing if we could get some testimonials for some younger people.
I think I will have 3 here in about a week, but not from the 28-day challenge.
But you do have 3, so maybe
Yeah.
that's what we need to ask as well. I only have 2.
Well, let's see. Yeah, I have 3. I may even have 4, but I know I have 3 coming in because they've already lost weight and they're getting ready to take another measurement and picture round here over the next couple weeks because I've been coaching them along.
Actually, maybe I do have 3. I had a 17-year-old, a lady that was in my business but kind of left, Belkis, her 2 kids, and then one of the girls on our team, Kinley, who's only 21, and she turned it into a business. I think she's got the highest rank for anybody that young
Nice.
so far.
Nice. Yeah, I really hope we get that going, that age group.
Let's do it. Look, we're like, let's do it.
I think that'd be great.
And because those parents are more likely to invest, and all these kids are getting out of college with no real plan of what they're going to do. And those kids are great with video and social media, right? They have a lot of skills that we don't have.
Yep, that's exactly right. Oh yeah, they laugh at us at our social media skills. We're a joke.
Yeah.
I have 4 boys, 28 to 36 years old. And they think when I even text them, sometimes they're like, what are you doing, Mom? What was that text? That doesn't even make sense.
Dang, we need to start using them as our pilot kids.
That was an
then. I
email.
didn't know
Yeah.
we had kids that are that old, Cindy. We need,
Yeah.
and Susan's kids are just skinny. We can't really use them.
I actually have a 12 and 13-year-old granddaughters. So I'm ancient. I'm the old one on here. It's okay.
My kid's 9. I started we started so late.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that either.
So late. Okay, perfect. So that's kind of our takeaways. And do we want to try to get anything going on this preliminary presentation? So we're going to do the clips. The clips are coming through. Do we want to start kind of outlining? Susan, Frank, did Ken ever send you anything yet? Have you seen anything?
Nope.
I've even been kind of ruthless on that, but I don't know because I saw the way that he broke down the money and I was like, man, that's not what I was looking for at all. Like that wasn't my one pager that I had in mind. The 450, 15%, $80. I was like, that means nothing to me. Like that.
Oh, Susan, that sounds like our old company. Because if he did 450, right?
Yeah.
That's what he was doing. He was doing that layout.
Also, Kev was like, that just isn't screaming to me because like I see you have a lot of conversations and everything for 450, and I can go to garages and do 450 for a spring job. And I was like, but it's not residual. That's the difference. You got to keep doing it. He's like, true. So do we want to try to is that kind of our action items? Let's get the pictures, before and afters. We're getting the video clips. We'll get it to Jill, we'll put it together, and we're going to have Cindy kind of frame up what our 5-minute video. Maybe that's our goal between now and next Wednesday. Do you guys like that plan?
And I do have a short slide for compensation or for business. I'll send you those 2 when I send the other thing. You may want some pieces of it, but I don't know.
I kind of like the one pager more than like explaining.
So just a one page?
Yeah,
okay.
What do you think? Like, this is this, and this is how you do that. Like, if you're not a networker, I remember everybody kept saying the 15% on your baseline. And I was like, what are you? Susan was like, you don't understand this. I was like, it's Greek. What you're saying is Greek. She's like, just get an ultimate. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Just go get an ultimate.
That's why she's the queen. That's why Susan's the queen.
Oh my gosh. But she does, yeah, exactly. And it's been called to my attention a little bit more lately, you guys. So there's also these business builders that they're business builders, they're great at sales and everything, and they don't think in terms of money and numbers. And to me, that blows my mind. I'm like, but how can you be successful? And they're like, we don't really know what you're talking about. Like, they're like, no, I just create all this with fun and relationships. And, I'm number 4 in my company. I don't know how I'm there. Do you deal with a lot of people like that, Susan Frank?
Oh yeah.
See, that's 4. Those people are great to me.
Different people.
Huh? What'd you say?
Different people are here for different reasons. We got the analytical people, we got the people that are just here to have a good time, we got the people that are type A that need to be in charge of everything, and then there's another group that I never can remember, but obviously they just want to just take care of everybody and take care of everything. So there we have it. As long as we cater to all, a lot of money.
That would be great for our exclusive club or even our initial health consult that we do with them. I would love to do some type of tiny personality test to see who the heck these people are and how they're motivated, and then what their health goals is. If I could figure out those things, but then just like Susan saying, oh, the Dominican, we're traveling, you know what I mean? The other people, they're all business. They don't even think they have time to take a freaking trip. Like, they could care less. You know what I mean?
Get me in the daggone hot tub and we'll talk about it. I just want to have a good time.
Yeah, and you know what? And Todd would say this, and I don't disagree with Todd, even though I am an analytical, strategic business person minded. That's where my mind goes. Todd says action beats strategy any day of the week, and I somewhat agree with it. Action always beats strategy. So it does. And so that's coming from a strategic thinker. I know it's true to some extent. So you got to mix both. So if you're going to have it all, you have to mix a little bit of both. But
yeah. And I think lastly, Cindy, I think your story and just kind of what you're sharing here gives me such a more of a vision for what we have you guys here, because being a COO, owning multiple businesses, your husband's successful in business, like knowing what you know, and you still know that this is your retirement plan. And you know what I mean? And you still know, like, I think that right there speaks volumes to men, right? You've done it all. You've been there. You've been successful. And right there, I'm negotiating contracts for people. I'm doing marketing for these people. Right. You're doing all of these things and you're still pulled back to this.
Yeah, because once you know what I know, it doesn't compare. If you're just doing it to dabble in it, then it is just for fun and it's for vacations, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you know about business, most people don't have a retirement. I don't care what they build. I don't care what they had. The majority of people do not have enough money to quit working. The majority do not.
You're right.
And
or even sell out to private equity or whatever. That's where we are with Kevin's businesses right now. You know, he's reporting every single thing. And I'm like, but you're so young. Yeah. We can't sell. You got to have, and that's what I think he's really getting, you know, looking at this. And what a great story. Somebody that didn't believe in it, has great businesses, and watch him come. I hope he blows me out of the water to see, like, wow. And especially if you can get a couple doing it. It's never been in networking. You know what I mean? That, you know, own business like this could definitely be massive. And like Letty, your husband, he needs to come in and do this with us. Look, I'm like, Letty, where's John? Get him on the phone. Get him on the phone.
Yeah,
So John's not working, but what got John finally to look at it was going to Florida and talking with Susan Frank on our way back to the airport, because I was saying, you know, the difference is while we were gone, I was still earning money, but while we were gone, his shop was closed.
Right.
Yeah. And so that, I think, is what caught his attention to finally, okay, let's take a look. Now he's going, did you talk to 10 people a day? Blah, blah, blah. It's like,
exactly.
You don't talk to 10 people a day. So Yeah,
Giving them
that's,
those things. And see, that's the map. If they have a map, Kevin's like, men, if you have a map to show us where the heck we're going, and not that we don't go by intuition like y'all do and feeling good and let me pick up and call Letty and talk to her about this. So he's like, that's not how we operate, babe. Like, we just don't think that. So I think it's good to have like his energy in this, and then that guy, Tanya's husband, Scott Burton, like he is incredible. Like we need that. All right, Letty, what's your goal to make for 2025? Because this is going to get us there. What's your goal? How much money?
Michael, we talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to get to 300,000. Susan Frank wants me to get to $1 million. So I got to figure that out.
What's your goal for money, girl? What's your goal?
Forget $1 million a month. We're going to get there.
Okay, Cindy, what's your goal?
My goal is $1 million a month. And
that's my goal.
I think it's Susan and I had a original mentor, I would say, right? The guy who owned the old company. And once I knew he did that, it changed my entire mind about every business I ever sold. I'm like, what? Wait a minute.
Exactly. Okay. So my short-term goal is 100,000 a month within 3 months from here. And my long-term goal for the end of the year is $1 million a month. Jill, what you gonna make, girl? What you gonna make?
Oh my gosh, now I feel so crazy bad. But I would say my short-term goal in the next 5 months is just to do 5,000 residual, like no drops, no retail sales. That's just my residual. Long term, I'd like to see $100,000 a month. And then yeah, beyond that, like I'm open, let's do it. But just like the realistic steps.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
I see the cutest little dog. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Bella.
So tiny.
All right, girls, Dream Team 2025. Watch it.
Let's do it. Bye, guys.
Excited. And Cindy's like, this is already done. This is already created. Like, we've already done this, right? Quantum time hopping. We know how to do this, guys. Like, it's already here. God's already orchestrated everything. We just need to take the actions and be a little bit in the men energy of, okay, we go here, we go here, we go here, we go here, and just rein me back in and I'll contribute also.
So is somebody going to put us all in a text thread to send the pictures, and I'll start working on the boards? And Cindy, if you'll shoot over those presentations, and I'm going to pull back to what I used to use for men and see if we can incorporate that.
That'd be awesome, Susan.
Do we want to do text message or messenger? What's easiest?
I hate Messenger. Don't do Messenger or you'll never hear from me.
I shouldn't have even asked you that question, Frank. All right.
I'm
When
with
I was Frank, I'll be like Frank, and Kim Bailey's like, what are you saying? Who is Frank? I was like, Susan Frank. They're like, why do you call her that? So all right. So we got Cindy, Letty, and everybody can just chime in. This is my phone number. This is my phone number. So we can save it. And Susan Frank. And look, I'm gonna loop Kevin in. Look, I'm gonna get this guy out of I'm gonna get him out of his own way.
Do we get back to Ken and ask him to please create that 5-minute video?
Who?
Yeah, Letty, you ask him, Letty.
All day, but Susan Frank's got the number into Ken. Ken's pretty good with me too, but
Ken's not listening to me, so ask him, Letty. I've asked him a bunch of times for the old presentation and with our numbers.
And if we can't get that, then we're sending Cindy.
So do I ask him to make it similar to the old presentation?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Sydney's like, this is how Susan does it. She just assigns people.
Hey,
I don't play.
The smartest people in business delegate everything, Susan. So I'm in awe. I'm in awe. I bow down to you, Susan.
I do. You gotta ask for help, don't you? You gotta ask. I mean,
hey, I try to get it. If I don't get it, I'll start delegating because I want it.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
I'll do it right now.
I'm gonna turn off the. All right. See you guys. Peace out. Are you stop reclouding?